I'm sorry there was a break for this. Not like anybody cares, but you have my apologies regardless. The reason that there was a break is because my dog passed away. So, rest in peace to Toby. I will forever miss him. I'm actually recording this 1 week after Toby passed. In fact, here's a fun fact. Today should mark the 10-year anniversary of me starting high school. I started high school 10 years ago today. Maybe not to the day. You might be wondering, how does that make sense? Well, the thing is, my high school is a little bit different from the rest. My high school actually starts 1 week earlier than everyone else. My high school started the final week into August. So it didn't start like the first week of September like every other school. My high school started the final week of August. So 10 years ago, on the final the final week of August 2015 was when I started high school. I didn't realize this until a friend of mine brought it up. There's a fly in this room, by the way. So I've decided that next we are going to do the Trial of the Swords. I was going to do the side quests next, but then I decided I should probably get this done first. The sooner we get this done, the better. The sooner we get the Master Sword upgraded, the better, you know? And also there are some side quests that needs us to fight some enemies, do some mini-bosses. So I figured probably best to get this done first. It's only beneficial going forward if I do this first. So yeah, my dog of 13 years, my second dog, has now passed away. 1 week ago today, on August 19th, 2025, that is when my dog Toby passed away. He passed away in the morning around 11 a.m. He passed away at home, surrounded by his family and his little brother. Now, I wish I could say that Toby's final moments were peaceful and pain-free, but unfortunately that was not the case. Days prior to Toby's passing, he had stopped eating, and that's usually a very bad sign. So we finally took him to the vet to see what was going on with him, and it turns out that his organs were all enlarged or inflamed. I don't know if was inflamed, but I know they were enlarged. So his heart, his kidneys, his pancreas, whatever else. You know, me taking damage this early on is not good. Especially later on. You know, get out of my way. So all of Toby's internal organs were enlarged and crushing up against each other. That could not have been comfortable. So the vet, even the vet himself, said to us that, you know, so he prescribed Toby some pain meds, like painkillers and some sort of drug to help with appetite, since Toby at that point hadn't eaten in like 3 days. I think it was like gabapentin. I may have butchered that name. So the vet prescribed painkillers and appetite improving stuff, and even the vet himself said that if this stuff doesn't work, you may want to consider euthanization. And all of this was the day before Toby passed. So we tried our best to give him the painkillers and tried our best to give him the pills to increase his appetite. But then the next morning I woke up, I came downstairs, and I saw my sister and mom with tears in their eyes. A part of me was thinking he may have passed in his sleep. If that was the case, maybe that would have been more peaceful for him. But no, they saw Toby early that morning, lying down in his bed, struggling to breathe, suffering in so much pain. We decided that, we should relieve him of his pain forever. Free him from all his suffering. And, unfortunately, everything that day, everything that was planned up to that day kind of lined up perfectly, because we had originally, the entire family, we had originally taken that day off to go to CNE, the Canadian National Exhibit in Toronto. It's an annual event. So we planned, days or a week ahead of time to have this day off so everyone can go and have a good time. And it just so happened to be the day that Toby passed, which I guess you could say was a good thing. Because we just happened to take the day off that Toby just passed away. Instead of, us having to abruptly not go to work because of it, right? So I guess in a way it did line up. I don't have a bow. Thankfully, bombs are able to take these guys out. So, it was the morning of August 19th. We were getting ready to say goodbye to Toby. There were two different vets that we had as options. One of them didn't have time until like 2:30. And the other, they had time around like noon. And we didn't want Toby to wait for like 3 hours, suffering that entire time, so we decided to go to the vet that was more available. So we were getting ready to say goodbye. We were getting ready to take some final pictures with him while he was still here. And, and then take him to the vet. Unfortunately, though, Toby passed away before we even had a chance to leave the door. We put him onto a chair so that he could be a little bit elevated to take pictures with. Just final pictures, final goodbyes. And before we even had a chance to leave the house to take him to the vet to put him down, he passed away. He passed away in our arms, surrounded by family. He passed away so suddenly, I didn't even get a chance to tell him one last I love you. But I think it's okay. I told him I loved him every single day, so I think he got it. In fact, my dad got the final message with him. My dad got to say the final things to him. My dad was, comforting him, saying thank you for being part of the family, for all the years of love and companionship. And then the moment my dad got up and stepped away, it was my sister and my turn to say our final goodbye, and that's when he passed away in our arms. It's hard. This is now my second dog I have had that has passed away. And as much as it sucks, that is just life. We are born into this world, we live, and we die. Dying is just a natural part of life, but that doesn't make it any less sad or any less painful saying goodbye. Oh, I was supposed to shoot that down. Whoops. So, just like with Billy when he passed away 5 years ago, we didn't want him to be in a freezer. For our dogs, we are choosing to cremate them so that we can at least have their remains with us. So, 5 years ago when Billy passed, unfortunately for Billy, he, we did have to put him down, so he didn't pass away naturally on his own. Toby did, though. So when Billy passed, we ourselves immediately took them to the place of cremation. Because, if you don't know, when a pet dies, or even if a person dies, and you want the body to be cremated so you can have the remains, if the service isn't available immediately, then the person or the body gets put into a freezer. At least that's how it works for pets. You know how in hospitals there's like an entire floor, an entire room where the bodies on a trolley get wheeled into, and that room is meant to be cold, so it slows down the decomposition, the decay? Well, same thing for vet clinics and pets. When they pass away, they get put into a freezer. And then, periodically, the people from the cremation place will, come in, take any bodies, and, do their job. But we didn't want our dogs to be in freezers, so we ourselves immediately took them to the cremation places. And let me tell you, the service for cremation is expensive. I mean, no surprise there. And I gotta put respects to my sister's husband, so my brother-in-law. He did not hesitate to pull out his card and pay for the service fees. Cremation for our dog cost like over $600, and he did not hesitate. He just pulled out his card, put it in, and paid for it. We didn't ask him to, he just did it on his own. Which, trying to win brownie points with the wife's family, right? And also, it's just a kind gesture. If I ever am in that position, then yeah, I would do the same too. Even if $600 is is a hard blow, but it is what it is, right? I tried to dodge that. So we drove Toby to the cremation place, and we still haven't received his urn with his ashes yet. Still waiting for that to happen. Toby is now with his brother, at least I hope. That's what sucks with when it comes to me. Oh, damn it. Because me personally, I don't believe in an afterlife. That's just me personally, though. If you believe in an afterlife, then good for you. As much as I would like to believe that there is an afterlife, Toby's not gone forever, and, he's with his brother now frolicking in the field in the afterlife. As much as I would like to believe that, I just don't believe in an afterlife. My family, they kind of wonder about reincarnation because, you know, while we were sobbing that Toby's gone, my mom was saying, you know, you be better, or not really better, but, you know, you be good in your next life. Be reborn as a person, be a wealthy person, be a successful person. You succeed in your next life. I tried to parry at least one of those. I don't know if I necessarily believe in reincarnation either. The afterlife is one thing, reincarnation is another. Because when it comes to the afterlife, at least you're still you know, you still have your memories, right? Reincarnation, you're reborn, but the slate is kind of wiped clean. You don't remember anything of your old life. You don't remember your family, your experiences, anything. There are sayings out there that reincarnation, you act like the way you did in your previous life, so you still have the same personality, but you still don't have any of the memories or experiences, right? You don't remember your family. So even if my boys are reborn into human beings, into people, they wouldn't remember anything. I almost prefer an afterlife, because at least they have memories of, you know, being with their family. And that's another thing too, like some sort of Chinese tradition, I suppose. So something my mom and sister are doing, I'm not bothering to do it, because I don't believe in it and I don't personally care. So, damn. That was a poorly timed parry, and because of that, I have to start all over. Oh, this is only the first of 3 Trial of the Swords 2. So, because my mom and sister... Wait, what? They're doing some sort of Chinese thing where a death in the family... Wow, I'm all the way here. Screw you, autosave. I guess screw me. Then again, I did do pretty sloppy with that, so I guess I could have done better. So let's try it again. The first one was supposed to be the easiest one, too. So, something my sister and mom are doing, but I'm not bothering to partake in, is they're going vegetarian for a month. They don't eat meat, but they can still eat animal products like eggs and cheese. Oh wait, today's the 25th, so wait, it hasn't been a week yet. It's been 6 days. Tomorrow will be a week. Whoops. Well, regardless, already a week has already flown by, and wow, how quickly time flies, right? Just like that, in the blink of an eye, 13 years has passed. They were born, they lived their full lives, and they're gone now. But yeah, my mom and sister, they're going vegetarian for a month. I'm not too sure on why. I think it has something to do with, like, in case reincarnation is a thing, you don't want to accidentally eat your loved one after they reincarnated and was turned into food. But that doesn't entirely make sense, because any meat products, the animal was killed long before the passing happened. I don't know. I don't care. My mom and sister are vegetarians for a month. Me personally, I don't care. I'm not going to partake in that. You know, I feel like I've handled Toby's passing much better this time around. When Billy passed, I was completely destroyed. But that was because that was the first major death of my life. Sure, my grandfather passed away a couple years beforehand, but that didn't impact me all too much because I rarely saw my grandfather. He lived in Hong Kong. I would occasionally see him once every couple of years. So I wasn't too torn up when my grandfather passed away. I was sad, of course, but I wasn't too torn up about it. It's not like I lived with my grandfather every single day. I can definitely see being upset if that was the case, but because I saw him periodically once every handful of years, then it's like, well, yeah, it is a shame. But when it comes to my dogs, you know, I lived with them every single day. In fact, both Billy and Toby, they were with me for a grand total of 18 years. Having the two of them spanned 18 years. In just 2 short years, I will have had dogs in my life for 20 years. And of course, friends of mine checked up on me to see how I was doing, how I was holding up after all of this happened. A friend of mine asked me how I'm holding up, and I told him I'm handling Toby's passing much better than Billy 5 years ago. And he's just like getting used to it. You guys remember that scene in Akame ga Kill where Tatsui, what's his name? Tatsumi? I think it was. It's been a while since I've seen that anime. Tatsumi was asking Akame, like, you must be used to it, right? Your friend's passing, and then she's just like, that's never something you ever get used to. My friend is dead. And yeah, I just told him it's just not something you ever get used to. Well, both of my childhood dogs are gone now. Billy came into my life when I was 6 years old, and Toby came into my life before I even turned 11. Both of them are gone now, and there's nothing I can ever do to have them back. All I can do now is move forward with my life. Because at this point, that's my only purpose in life. Lord knows I don't have any other purpose in this world. My only purpose now is to keep going and keep moving forward for them. To carry on their memory in this world. That's the only purpose I have in this world now. And of course, if, say, one day I become a father, then my purpose would be to raise my children, of course, but let's face it, at my rate, that's never going to happen. At my rate now, that's not happening. So my only purpose now in life is to keep on going, keep on moving forward, keep on living for them. Carry on their memory. And of course, I will be forever grateful for the time we had together. The 13 years of love and companionship that my dogs brought me, I will always cherish that forever. Even though I am heartbroken that that time has come to an end. An emotional scar that will never heal. You remember how earlier I mentioned high school? Well, call me crazy, but now that I've had time to think about it, now that, 10 years has passed since high school started, I've had time to reflect back, and I actually do think that, I peaked in high school. I feel like my life peaked in high school. Now, I know everyone's gonna make fun of me for that, but, I'm sure there's some people out there that agree as well. Like, there's some people out there who would say their lives also peaked in high school. And damn, I really didn't know how good I had it back then, First of all, both my dogs were alive back then. I didn't have to worry about, finding work, or finding jobs, or going to work, or paying for school. And don't even try to bring up the argument of, private schools. I had it good back then, and I didn't realize it until it was long over. All I had to do was wake up early in the morning, go to school, attend class for like an hour and 20 minutes. I come home to my boys. I didn't have to worry about work. I didn't have to worry about paying for anything. I hang out with friends. Oh, what I would give to go back there, And I remember when high school was ending, people, more so the teachers, the staff, they would say, you'll miss this. One day you'll wish you'll be back. At the time I was thinking, I'm not going to wish I was back here, because I'm not going to miss high school. High school sucked. Class, exams, studying, I'm not going to miss this. Well, I said that before, college, where it was amplified, where it was worse. And to make things even worse, I had to pay for it. So yeah, now that I've experienced college, yes, I do wish I were back in high school. Back when both my dogs were still alive. Back when life was easier. Back when I had a full head of hair. Okay, this is too dangerous. Get away. And now that Toby's gone, all that's left is Sky, my youngest dog. He's 5 years old. And for the rest of his life, he's gonna be alone. He's not gonna have any dog companionship with him. Unfortunately, that's all he knew. When he came into our family, when he was just a puppy, Toby was... he was already 8 years old. So, from the beginning of Sky's life, he had another dog with him. He had a brother. And now, for the rest of Sky's life, that's not going to be the case. I've told my sister I think you should take him with you when you move out to the condo of yours. I don't want him to be alone all the time in this big house. Now that his brother's gone, I think a change of scenery is what's best for him. It helps not remind him of him being alone now. And partially my sister agrees. My sister does plan to do that, regardless of when she decides to fully move out. The thing is, though, if she does that, if she takes him for most of the time, then that'll leave no dogs in the house. For the first time in nearly 20 years, the house will be completely vacant of dogs, of canines. Me personally, I don't think I want to get another dog yet, at least not anytime soon. I think at the moment, having 3 dogs in my life is enough. At least, until maybe one day in the future. Because I don't want the cycle to continue. When Billy was our only dog, I started to get worried that he might be alone whenever all of us were out. My parents out at work, my sister and I at school, he would be alone at home. I was worried that he might be alone. So I suggested to the family we get a second dog. And that's exactly what happened. We got a second dog, and that was Toby. But because there was a 5-year difference between them, inevitably, Billy was going to age, he was going to pass, and then, Toby would be alone for the remainder of his life. So when Billy passed, we didn't want Toby to be alone either, so we got a third dog to be with him. But there was now an 8-year difference in age. So if the cycle continues, every time a dog of ours naturally just ages and passes, well, there's still all of the age differences, right? So now that Sky's alone, I don't necessarily want to bring another dog into the family to continue that cycle. Once, if we get another dog, then when Sky is old and he passes away of age as well, then that new dog in our life will be left alone. So we get another dog with a big age difference to fill in that gap, but then the cycle continues. So for now, I don't think I want to get a fourth dog in my life. Not yet, at least. There's only so much heartbreak someone can take. And I know people have had it worse than me out there. Yep. You're up on that platform. Where did you even get a rock from? You want to know the worst thing about all of this? Toby passed away on August 19th. That is 3 days before my birthday. Now, I'm glad that he didn't pass away on the day of my birthday. That would have been even worse. So at least it didn't line up badly like that. But, however, other things lined up pretty bad as well. Remember that job I mentioned a while ago? That job that I got? Well, I was actually laid off a month into it. And when did that happen? August 21st. A day before my birthday. So, pretty bad wombo combo in my life. My dog passes away. And then 2 days later, I get laid off from my job. And then literally the next day is my birthday. Now, I know I shouldn't bring drama, like personal family drama, into the workspace, because that's, that's the working environment. You don't want to let personal issues get in the way of the business flowing. But I just figured I would mention to my boss, like, he asked me how have I been, and I said it's been rough. he naturally asks why, and I said my dog passed away. Now, like I said, you probably don't want to bring your personal family issues into the workspace, but I just wanted to let him know just in case. Kind of like, hey, if I'm a little out of it right now, it's just because this happened. There was a death in the family, so if there's moments where I'm kind of, not fully here, just know that's why. So all I did was mention it to him. I didn't do anything big. I didn't make any sort of like emotional showings. And, the worst thing is, like, imagine my boss's position. Imagine his position. He already predetermined ahead of time that he was going to let me go. And then he hears that, oh, his dog passed away. Oh. And I doubt he knew. Oh, man. And I doubt he knew this. I doubt he knew that my birthday was literally the next day of him letting me go. I doubt he knew that. Sure, he may have seen it on my resume when I... Is that even on your resume, your date of birth? Whatever. He may have known beforehand, like during the hiring process, that the 22nd of August was my birthday, but I doubt he remembered that, right? And if he did, that's even worse. He's letting me go the day before my birthday, and on top of that, I tell him my dog passed away 2 days prior. Damn. What was the reason he let me go for? You might be asking. So, I just want to mention that I was not fired. I was let go. There's a difference, So, the reason I was let go was because, of course, the goddamn language barrier. So he pulled me into his office, and he said, your performance here, like, you've been here for about a month, your performance here was great, I just think that, we're looking for someone who, can speak goddamn Mandarin. So, the goddamn language barrier. He said my performance was fine, which I kinda don't buy. Because, I'll be honest, I didn't really do shite in that job. And it wasn't my fault. The location that the store was opened, it just doesn't have a lot of people coming in the morning when my shift was. My shift was 10:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon. Not a whole lot of people were coming in at 10:30 in the morning. So my job was basically to sit there, answer any phone calls, reply to any emails, book appointments, package any jobs that were completed, and, be there for pickups or adjustments or whatnot. Which didn't happen very often. So I didn't really do that much for this job. And also, I feel like the language barrier was just an excuse to get rid of me, because the handful of times that we did have things to do, whether it be a phone call or an actual, appointment to deal with, not a whole lot was Mandarin. So there were very few instances where, I was pretty much useless because I didn't speak Mandarin. There was very few instances. So yeah, I kind of feel like saying the language barrier was, just bullshit. Just an excuse to get rid of me. Man, I feel like more and more, I can't help but feel like I was just cursed being born Asian in this world. Just the wrong Asian. I can't help it that I was born Chinese, just the wrong goddamn Chinese. You know, instead of speaking Mandarin, I was raised to learn Cantonese, not Mandarin, so the wrong goddamn Chinese. And, you know, now that my family found out that I was let go because of this, they've been trying to tell me, or rather trying to push me to learn some Mandarin. And I'm sorry, I just can't learn the language. It just all sounds like a bunch of gibberish to me. I can't understand a single word. You know, on paper, I suppose, maybe not written in Chinese because I can't read it. Pronunciation-wise, there are some things that sound similar between Canto and Mando, but me personally, I can't understand a word in Mandarin. When you say something in Canto and then it sounds somewhat similar in Mando, I still can't understand. It all just sounds like gibberish to me. So I really just can't help but feel like I've been cursed to be born the wrong Asian in this world. Because, let's say this, at least if I was born white, you would not look at me and think, hey, maybe that guy knows German, or Italian, or what other, you know? Given the fact that we live in Canada, if I was a white person, you look at me and you would probably instantly assume I know English. Perhaps French, but less likely, you know? More than likely, if I was a white guy here in Canada, you would assume that I just know English, right? But no, with the face I was dealt with, you take one look at me and you think that guy must know Mandarin. I just can't help but feel like I was cursed being born the wrong Asian into this world. Now, I know, some people are gonna make the argument that you could have had it worse. You could have been born other ethnicities. I'm not gonna say which ones. I'm sure you know which ones, but I'm not gonna say. I'm sure you have ethnicities in mind that have it way worse than me just complaining that I don't know a language, a Chinese language. But, yeah, you know? And it's just a Canada thing. I remember a time when it was a joke in Canada. Why are there so many Asian people here? Chinese people here? Now, it's a joke of, why are there so many Indians here? And I know you've seen the Canadian Indian memes online. I know you've seen them. I remember a time when it was, why are there so many Chinese people in Canada? And now it's, why are there so many Indians in Asia, in Canada? But yeah, I just can't help but feel like, you know, someone like me, being born the wrong Asian, yet having the face I have, you know, I just can't help but think like people like me are just kind of expected to just curl up and die. 'Cause, you know, if someone like me with the face I have can't speak the damn language, then I'm of no use. Look at what just happened. I was let go. If we're to believe the reasons I was told, I was let go because I don't know the damn language. You know, and it's not just this job, it's going to be future jobs as well. Say I get hired at, like, a Walmart. Well, my English is fluent, so they can hire me for that, but any Chinese or any Asian customers that don't really speak English and are looking for staff assistants, they'll come to me. And then I'll have to tell them, once again, sorry, I don't speak Mandarin. What's stopping the business from being like, look, you did great, but you kind of can't help the clientele that speak a particular language, so we feel like it would be best for us to part ways, because we're looking for someone who actually can, who actually is able to help them, what's stopping other businesses from doing the same thing? So I can't help but feel like someone like me, the wrong Asian, well, businesses don't want me. In a way, this country doesn't want me. I can't help but feel like, well, I'm kind of just expected to just curl up and die. And you know what? After all of this, all that's happened the past week, with Toby passing away, and then me being laid off from my job because of goddamn Mandarin language barriers, you know, a part of me does want to see just how many backflips I can do having jumped off of a skyscraper. I wonder how many people out there are gonna be like, is that your solution? Anytime something hard happens in life, anytime life just gets hard, you want to take the easy way out? What if I say yes? What if I tell you yes? Man, you want to hear a story too? A friend of mine texted me yesterday. He texted me like, "Yo, man, I am freaking out right now. I am so lost in life. I don't know what to do." And I'm just like, "Alright, great. We suffer together." And then he told me what's wrong. Now, this is a... I can't believe he actually texted me about this. He texted me... He texted me his girlfriend found out that he's not a virgin, so now she's having second thoughts, and he's panicking, he doesn't know what to do. And I'm just like, I take back saying we suffer together. After everything that I've gone through just this week alone, that you know, you text me about this petty ass shit, about something so small. Listen here, buddy. You have to keep in mind that 9 out of 10 guys would react the same. Like, fellas out there, if we hear that our girl has a high body count, she slept with other dudes, we start to think she a hoe, she belongs in the streets. And then, guys, we start thinking like, is that thing all stretched out? You know? Now, personally, that's just what I, as a guy, think. I don't know what girls think, you know? Girls hearing, oh, he slept with other chicks, like, what do they think? That's equivalent to us thinking, well, is it all stretched out? Is there any more, you know, tightness to it? You know what I'm trying to say, right? What do girls think when they hear, you know, that guys have a high body count too? Like, what's their equivalent to what we think? But yeah, I told him, like, bro, you are panicking over nothing. It's something so small. And I told him, remember, guys think the same way too. So what she's thinking is perfectly fine. It's perfectly natural. Man, I can't believe he texted me something so stupid, something so small. After everything that I've gone through this past week alone, and you're texting me that you are lost in life, you're freaking out because... Oh, there were arrows back there. Because your girlfriend found out that you're not a virgin and she's having second thoughts. Let's see if I could take on one at a time. Okay, you're dead. Get away. Oh boy, they all got aggroed now. This is tough. I don't remember how I ever did this before in Master Mode, but I know I have. See, this is why I waited until now to do Master Mode, until I had at least maxed out hearts. I say at least, but even maxed out hearts isn't enough. That fly is right on top of my monitor right now. I can see it just running around. Why can't I do this? I haven't sucked this hard, pause, for Trial of the Swords. Damn, I'm doing actually really bad. We all hoped that Toby would be with us longer than Billy did. Billy was with us for 13 years, 3 months, and 2 days. Toby was with us for 13 years, 1 month, and 2 days. So, unfortunately, Toby did not last longer than his brother. That sounds so bad to say, last longer. As much as we hoped he would, you know. The expected lifespan of our dog's breed was 13 years, so it's pretty on the mark, I would say. I just find it not fair. Then again, this world we live in's not fair. That's just the world we live in, right? If anyone, it should be me. It should be me dead and 6 feet in the ground, not them. They were innocent. They deserve to be here instead of me. As much as I would like to believe in an afterlife, as much as I would like to believe that one day, when my time comes, I will see them again, and then we will spend the rest of eternity together, I just don't believe in an afterlife. So that was the last time I ever get to see them. And even if there is an afterlife, we all know I'm not going to heaven. That fly is crawling around all over my monitor. Oh, I don't have any arrows. Could have sworn I picked some up. Wow. That fly is crawling across the top of my monitor. Oh, you wanna know something else that happened that kinda sucks? I might need a Switch 2 sooner than later. I'm still playing on Switch 1 right now, if you haven't noticed. I might need a Switch 2 sooner than later, because my Switch, it has started to die around the 27 battery percent mark. So it seems like the battery on my Switch is on the fritz. Damn, I guess I need to upgrade to the next system sooner than later. I was holding off on upgrading consoles because, you know, money. The amount of money I made at that job before I got laid off, it was like just over $1,000, which may not really be a lot, but it does make sense, you know. I was only part-time, so let me pull out my phone's calculator real quick. So before I was in like probation or whatever, so I was making like $24 an hour. So $24, I was working 4 hours a day, so that's 96 times 3 days a week, 288, and then multiply that by a month, so 4 weeks, so times 4, 1,152. And then I was told whatever taxes or whatnot was deducted from that. I don't know what any of that means. So, you know, it was just a little bit over $1,000. So 1 month there, I earned just over $1,000. And you know what sucks the most? Well, all that did was pay off my credit card bill. 90%, 95% of that payment is going to pay off my credit card bill. I already, in the past, like, not long ago, my credit card limit was only $500 a month. You may think that's very low, but, you know, with how much I spend, I need that limitation. And then, I got it raised to $1,000 a month. But I don't know what's been going on with my credit card. It kind of seems like now payment is expected every 2 months. So anyways, I'm about to have to pay my credit card bill for the end of the month, and yeah, it's just under $1,000 for the past 2 months. So, yep, 1 month of working there, all that did was pay off like 2 months of credit card bills. And before you say like $1,000 2 months, that's a lot of money. Some people would say that's a very little, but others would say that's a lot. Well, gas prices, food bills, and just other things to buy like groceries. Not a whole lot of things that, you know, I buy just for myself a lot these days. Because, frankly, just not a lot to buy these days. You know, there's no Amiibos or Labubu's that I buy. Not a lot these days, anyways. Did he just do a backflip as he was dying? Damn, that's kind of what I wish I could do. I wish I could target the other guy, you know? I already have this little health for the next area. Like the next level, that's very bad. There's more. Is this the one with the archer in it? Yeah, it is. I don't remember how many rooms or how many floors these have. It's this floor I keep dying at. Can I just do one at a time, please? Yes, just you, not the other ones. You come over here. Okay, that's one down, so at least one at a time is good. Just grab some weapons, don't aggro the ones inside. I could also try sneak striking, but by the time I get close enough, then I'll aggro the ones inside as well. Yes, aggro. Come over here. Wait, pick that up. Okay, good. You may want to hurry up and get in there. Ah! Man, I was actually really close there.